A North County couple's American dream quickly turned into a nightmare after wiring nearly $800,000 to who they thought was their escrow agent. Instead, all of that money went to a scammer.
You wake up in the morning and you don't even believe it's real.
Kevin and Nicole No lost $775,000 they had carefully saved to buy their new home.
I mean, we're just devastated and shocked, and how could this happen?
What happened to Kevin and Nicole really could happen to just about anyone. This scam involves far more than endless text messages or someone pretending to work for the FTC. And by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you the one thing that will guarantee you never fall victim to this scam yourself. In 2020, Kevin and Nicole were just about ready to begin an exciting new chapter in their lives. Kevin was a chef. Nicole was a nurse. They had their infant son, Declan, and they planned on having more children. Knowing they would need more space, they started house hunting. They found a house in Carlsbad, literally the house of their dreams. Nicole later said it felt like the American dream, owning a single-family home in a good area. For such a young couple, they had what most people would consider a massive down payment, nearly $775,000, covering about 60% of the purchase price of their new home in the affluent beachfront California city of Carlsbad. Where that money came from was their business, but interviews suggest that at least some of it was inherited. When it came time to close on the home, the moment when money changes hands and they receive the keys, everything seemed completely normal. They even received an email from the escrow company with instructions on how to wire their down payment. However, there was no bank account number included. I don't know exactly how escrow companies operate, but this may have been a deliberate security measure to ensure buyers confirm the information directly with someone at the office. Another critical detail is that the email was not encrypted. That meant if a hacker intercepted it, nothing would stop them from accessing and using the stolen information. And sure enough, somewhere in the shadows, a hacker had compromised the escrow company's email system. This hacker may have been watching and waiting for weeks, or even months, for the perfect moment to strike. And finally, the opportunity arrived. For those unfamiliar with how home purchases work in the United States, here's a quick explainer. When a buyer and seller reach a deal, an escrow company is usually brought in to handle the transaction. They receive the deed from the seller, the money from the buyer, make sure everything is in order, and when it's done, everyone walks away happy and nobody gets screwed. At least that's the idea. When the escrow company sent that unsecured email, the hacker knew Kevin and Nicole were preparing to wire an enormous amount of money. Using that stolen email, the hacker created a very convincing fake. This time, the email did include a bank account number, but it wasn't the escrow company's account. Kevin and Nicole received the hacker's email and, eager to secure their dream home, they followed the instructions. They liked this video and subscribed to Scam Beyond Belief. Sorry, that's a flat-out lie. But please do share this video to help others avoid this scam. The truth is, Kevin and Nicole simply wanted to complete the purchase. They went to the bank with the hacker's wiring instructions and sent all $775,000.
It all matched up with, everything that we had received. So, we proceeded with everything.
The bank had no issue sending the wire. No pauses. No questions. Afterward, Nicole called the escrow company to tell them the money had been sent. Remember, at this point the escrow company still had not given Kevin and Nicole the real bank account number. Somehow, that crucial detail slipped through the cracks. The response was essentially, okay, and everything seemed fine.
They called back to tell me what time the notary would be here the next day to sign our loan docs.
But a few days later,
then we get a phone call. Where did you send your wire? I said, to you guys. What do you mean to you guys? Oh, and I think then they kind of realized, well, hey, wait a minute, you wired the money, when did you wire it?
Naturally, everyone panicked, and rightly so. Kevin and Nicole reviewed the wire instructions again. At first glance, everything looked legitimate except for one small detail. The account name they wired the money to was Power ESC, presumably short for Power Escrow, the escrow company's name, but it also listed DBA, doing business as BitRoss. The couple likely noticed this and shrugged it off. Businesses often have strange legal structures on paper. But this was not one of those harmless oddities.
On the paper, we don't know what that means, but now that we've done our research and talking to other people, we know that that's cyber currency. And it's a very high red flag for scams and for fraud. To me, it doesn't matter who got hacked. What matters is they didn't follow protocol to protect our information, and the bank didn't follow protocol to protect our money.
Upon closer inspection, there was another issue with the email itself. See if you notice what's wrong with this real escrow company email that I slightly doctored. It was sent to me by mistake, which happens often. Did you catch it? The email address does not use the escrow company's real.com domain. Instead, it ends in .corn. That's exactly how the hacker tricked Kevin and Nicole.
The RN is almost identical to an M. And it's not bouncing back because they've created these fake emails.
The RN looks almost identical to an M. And because the hacker created functional fake email addresses, nothing bounced back. Yep, foiled by the classic .corn trick. If this had been spotted before sending the wire, things might have ended very differently. Here's how Kevin and Nicole reacted.
We can't sleep. I mean, last night you had a nightmare, and I remember I just dropped to the floor and
I immediately went to the FBI.
The FBI managed to trace the wire transfer from California to Texas and then on to Singapore, but it was no use.
They said most likely it's, just been dispersed, it's gone, it's untraceable. It still doesn't even feel real to me.
No, it's a nightmare. It's a total nightmare.
Kevin and Nicole placed the blame squarely on the escrow company, although I couldn't find any information confirming whether a lawsuit or settlement ever happened. I do know a GoFundMe was launched, but that page has since been removed, so it's unclear how much money was raised. Despite this horrifying ordeal, it seems Kevin and Nicole eventually landed on their feet. Nicole used her nursing expertise to invent a product called Snuggle Shield, which I imagine has something to do with babies and snuggling. Kevin's parents even mortgaged their own home in an attempt to save their son's dream house from slipping away. Earlier, I mentioned there is one foolproof way to avoid having your down payment stolen. That advice comes from YouTube commenter Real Estate, great name by the way, a real estate agent who commented on news coverage of this scam. His advice is simple. Always call the attorney or title company to confirm wiring instructions before sending a wire. And there you have it. Excellent advice no matter how large or small your down payment is. My name is Jimmy. Stay safe out there and thank you for watching.
And it's just insane the fact that this was able to go through so many hands of people that do this every day. There's so much negligence, it's not even funny.